Welcome back everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I've got a bit of a garden update for you today, and I'm also going to be talking about how to acclimate your Caladiums, Colocasia and tender bananas. Mine are currently in the bar sheltering from the wind. So for the last kind of 3 or 4 days the temperatures have gone up to above 7 degrees Celsius at night, so I've actually been leaving them outside but putting them in the bar at night. When it was a little bit colder I was bringing them out in the day and just putting them here in the shade. What you don't want to be doing is putting your plants straight out where you're going to plant them, like in a sunny position, because it's so much brighter and the conditions are so different outside to inside your home. You'll have the temperature difference, the light difference and also the wind. So currently my red Abyssinian is in the bar, my Colocasia esculenta is also here in the bar, and I have got a few bulbs that I haven't actually planted out yet, which I might do today or I might do a bit later on in the week. And then I've also been growing these in my kitchen for about 3 weeks, so they've come up nicely, and so I think it's about time for these to acclimate to the garden. These are going to be planted in one of my shady borders. They do seem very fragile though, which I'm a bit worried about. I think they're going to get battered in the wind, so I might have to give them some support poles. So over in this border here I just removed some of the mulch and then just put a layer of topsoil, a bit of John Innes No. 3 and some chicken manure pellets. You can see the cannas are starting to come up now. I did actually give the honeysuckle a bit of a trim because it was already a bit wild. I should have probably pruned it back a bit harder, but I'll know for next year. And I removed my Musa sicumensis from this spot here because it's getting a little bit crowded in this area, and I've already got this banana here which is obviously going to form into a clump at some point, so that will give the cannas a lot more room. And also, as I mentioned before, I am currently looking at getting a veranda built over my patio. So I'm hoping to get the quote this week, so if all is well that should be starting soon. So that will give a bit of protection over this area here with my sofa, and if it all goes ahead I'll be filming the process for you, and I'm actually really excited about it. I did have a gazebo there last month but that's just temporary. I had to take it down because of the wind. My gunnera is also gone. I mentioned in a previous video I was looking to get rid of it, but you're not allowed to sell them or give them away, so I had to actually burn it. If you're looking to dispose of your gunnera, just check with your local council whether you're able to burn it. I know it's a bit sad, but it was getting way too big for the garden and there wasn't anywhere else to put it. And I've got a big clump of bananas here anyway, which are going to obviously expand. I've also got some Crocosmia, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, and I don't know, I might plant something in the middle here, but I'm not quite sure what yet. I might have to do a little bit of plant shuffling. My Waggy Palm is in flower, and the Chaflera is looking okay. I'm really happy because we had some surprise frosts and I did kind of try and cover the top of it because it had some new growth, and it all looks to be okay, I think. So I'm quite happy about that. It's one of my favourite plants in the garden. I wouldn't mind getting another one actually. The tree ferns are a little bit slow coming up this year because it's been so cold, but I can feel some nice firm knuckles in there, so hopefully it won't be too long before those pop out. So I've just been doing a general bit of tidying and pruning today in the garden. My hosta is coming up. It actually looks a lot better than last year. Last year the slugs got it and it was not really looking too great, but it looks much better this year. It doesn't even look like it's had any slug damage. It's quite surprising. I gave my red robin a bit of a trim as that's getting a bit wild. I apologise about the wind. Pretty blustery today. And as I've mentioned previously, I'm going to be doing something with the lawn this year. I was thinking about paving over this side, but then I thought I might actually put some gravel down and put some nice grasses in there. I'm also going to be expanding this middle section a lot bigger. I need to draw up some more plans of how I'm going to merge it all together, but I might have like a path kind of going around this side, maybe some stepping stones or something. And then the middle bit's going to be much larger. Whoa. It's very windy. But anyway, I'll keep you posted on the lawn situation. Finally uncovered my sago palm and I'm really happy that it's looking okay. Really hope that it gives a nice new flush this year, but I doubt it. Apparently they are a bit temperamental and you might not get a new flush of fronds for many years, but we'll see. So my new palm tree is also going to be going somewhere in the middle of the lawn once I've extended this middle part. Again, I think I'll have to kind of draw up some plans to see how it's going to look. But basically, if you have been growing tender bananas or Colocasia and Caladiums inside, you will need to acclimate them to the garden. So just put them out in a nice shaded area for about a week or so. And it's up to you whether you take them in at night or not. I think now, because the temperatures are above 7, I'm just going to be leaving mine outside. Some people still cover them in fleece for a week or so, and others will take them back inside, but to be honest, I've had enough of them being inside. I just want them out in the garden and I think they'll be fine. You might get a couple of tatty leaves to start with, and then once they get settled in, they'll start growing properly. Obviously my red Abyssinian is not looking very red at the moment because it's not had any sun for quite some time. But I'll just see how the weather is over the next few weeks, and then I'll gradually kind of move them over into slightly sunnier position, and then usually I'll grow my red Abyssinian here in a pot next to the coffee table, and my Colocasia gets planted out at the front here in this middle bit. The Colocasia pink chinas have just started coming up, which is exciting. I might end up dividing those this year and then planting them around the garden. Maybe I'll plant some in my new middle section because they do multiply. I also need to decide what I'm going to be doing with my Safari Sunset, whether I'm going to be keeping it in a pot on the patio or planting it somewhere. Apparently they like full sun. It's not looking too happy at the moment. I think it's because it was grown in a greenhouse and it's just not loving the outdoor life. It does go back in the shed at night, apart from the last few days when it's been above 7 degrees at night. Yeah, it was in the shed at night, so we'll see what happens with that. So it looks like my bottle brush is going to flower, which is so exciting. It didn't flower last year. I've had it a couple of years. It actually seems quite happy in this pot, and it's grown so much since I've had it. It's actually grown bigger than the one I've got planted in the border, which is quite surprising. My azalea is finally in flower. It's a bit late this year. And I can also see signs of life from my Canna Pretoria. So for now I've just potted up my Musa Sicumensis. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. I might actually sell it because I am running out of room, but we'll see. So I actually recently discovered that my Tetrapanax, if that's how you pronounce it, I don't think it's a Rex. and apparently if it's got orange, I can't remember the proper name for it, but if it's got the ginger orangey kind of fuzzy, I don't even know what you'd call it, like the dust all over it and the veining, if it's ginger it's not the Rex version. I think the Rex version has paler veining, and I don't think the fur on it is ginger. So that's a bit disappointing when you buy a plant and you think it's something else, and then, well, after 2 years I've only just realised that it's not a Rex. But it's still beautiful, it still grows huge tropical looking leaves, and I'm quite excited to see how big it gets this year. So the only other plants that I've got inside at the moment that need to acclimate is my Caladiums, but I just feel like it's definitely not warm enough for those yet. But I will actually take you up into the office and show you how they're doing anyway. But here's how the garden is looking. We are about a month behind with our weather this year. It's been super cold compared to last year, so everything is very behind, which is a bit of a shame. But I'm really excited to see how big the bananas get this year. Here's the update on my Lily Hotel California. I'm really looking forward to this one flowering because I've never had one of these before and it looked absolutely stunning in the photos. It seems to be doing quite well. As I mentioned, we did have some quite rubbish weather last month, so I was actually covering this with a bit of fleece at night time just to protect the new growth, and it seems to be okay. There's no sign from my black knight just yet. So here's one of the Caladiums that I've been growing inside. This is my Florida Moonlight, and I moved this down from my office because it was getting way too big for the shelving unit. As you can see, it's got tons of leaves. I think it needs a water because it's looking a little bit droopy. It's quite warm in here, so I do have to water this one about twice a week. And I'll show you the other one I'm growing in here. Over this side we've got Big Red, one of my favourites. And he's just got 2 leaves at the moment and 2 flowers, so hopefully we'll get some more leaves popping up soon. But I usually grow this one here in the living room for the summer. So here we are up in my office. It is starting to look a little bit crowded now, so I am going to be moving some of these Caladiums. Actually, I don't know where I'm going to be moving them, but we'll see. Some of them will be going outside, but it's not quite warm enough to acclimate them just yet. They might be okay in the day, but it's a little bit windy out there. I think they'll just get battered. But I've been growing all these underneath my Spider Farmer grow light, which I'll leave a link for below in the description box. And I've also got some Alocasia cupria bulbs in here. I'll show you how they're doing. As you can see, some of them have started growing leaves. Ooh, we've got a bit of a mouldy one there. Have to get rid of that one. Also, that one's got a bit of rot on it. I did have these, well, they're on the heat mat, but the heat mat's not actually on anymore because it's very warm in here now, so I turned it off. But yeah, I'll sort those out later, but they're doing all right. I've also got my Colocasia Black Magic bulb here, but it's not been doing anything. Feels firm, but yeah, no signs of growth from that one yet. I might actually buy another one from Turn It Tropical because he sells plug plants. So I'll see how this one does. If it doesn't come up anytime soon, I might just buy a plug plant. And then I've just got a few random things growing over here. But I think I'll be putting my frog in a blender in the garden and possibly the Elise. I think I'll grow the strawberry star inside. So beautiful. Yeah, just a quick update on the Caladiums. It'll be nice to claim this shelving unit back once they're all gone, and then I'll be able to grow some more things underneath my grow lights, which is quite exciting. Oh, and if you're wondering about my Christia obcordata butterfly wing plant, I gave up on it. It was an absolute nightmare. If you haven't seen them already, I did make a couple of videos on how I grew the plant from seed, and I had a couple that came up really nicely until I went out and left the lid off this propagator box, and then they just dried up into crisps. So I tried again, and then the next batch, only one germinated, and it just wasn't growing. I literally have had it on this, it's off the heat mat now. It was on the heat mat for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it just stayed the same size, and then it was just a nightmare. So I don't know if I'll be growing those again, to be honest. Just in case you were wondering where it's gone, quite a variety of things growing up here. Got another Spider Farmer grow light there. But I'll do a separate office tour soon, because I have got quite a few things growing in here and I haven't done like a full office tour for a while. But I just really wanted to show you how the Caladiums were doing. Back out in the garden, I think I'm going to continue just pruning and tidying up the garden a little bit. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got any questions about acclimating your plants to the garden, just leave a comment below. But the main thing is just to slowly acclimate them, put them in a shady area first and then gradually move them out to a sunnier position, and just watch the temperatures at night. If it's going to be a bit chilly, you can take them inside or wrap them up. Take care everyone, happy gardening, and I'll see you all soon.